Hey guys, Teeka's Dragon here, and today we've got Winota, that is aggro stax, against Prossh, which is creature combo. So enjoy the games, let me know down below who you think's going to win, and we'll take it from there. We've got a dice roll of 4 against a dice roll of 7, so my opponent has chosen to go first. A little FYI, some of the proxies are in black and white due to lack of coloured ink at the time, so do apologise, but the pictures still will show what we're playing. So my opponent starts off with an Arid Messer, passes turn, so I draw, and then for land for turn is a command tower, tap that, play a Ragavan, pass turn. So my opponent draws for turn, plays his land for turn, which is a Graven Cairns, sacks his Arid Messer to play a Talisman. Then over to myself, untap, draw, play my land for turn, which is a Plains, swing with Ragavan. He takes the damage, I get my treasure token, and then I get to exile the top card of his library, but we've got to wait for him to finish. He has just searched up the tiger there. We're just double checking if Ragavan is, you may cast that card or you may play that card, just so we know in terms of if we get a land on top. I do find a Veil of Summer on the top there. So then we go into my main phase 2, I sack the treasure, and then we realise that I've overpaid, so we are going to get that treasure back. My opponent says it's alright. So we play an Arcane Signet into a Sensei, and then we pass turn. The Veil of Summer does go back to exile. So my opponent's untapped his Drew for turn. He plays his land for turn, which is a Mana Confluence. He pays 2, takes a life, and he plays a Bloom Tender. And then he pays another 2 and plays a further Talisman. And then he passes turn. I untap, draw for turn, 4 mana, get Winota out. So I swing with Ragavan. Winota's attack trigger, I get to look at the top 6 and put a human from them onto the battlefield, tapped, attacking, and again end of turn. So with this I find a Loyal Apprentice. So he declares no blocks, I put my cards on the bottom, damage goes through, Ragavan trigger, I get a treasure, and there's a City of Brass that has been exiled, which I won't be able to play. So that will go back to exile. In my main phase 2, I sack the treasure and then I play a Deafening Silence, and then with that I pass the turn. So my opponent's turn, he untaps, he draws for turn, plays his land for turn, which is a Wooded Foothills. He immediately sacks that, searches the library, finds himself a Bayou, and then we'll shuffle the library. And then whilst we're sorting the deck out, he plays Prossh, gets himself 6 Kobolds. Passes turn and then taps his mana accordingly. So I've untapped, just waiting for him to finish. He's taking the 1 life for Mana Confluence there. So my turn. So we untap, upkeep, draw, tap 3, and we play a Goblin Rabblemaster. And then we go to combat. So combat triggers. I get a 1/1 Goblin from Goblin Rabblemaster, and then I find a 1/1 Thopter for the Loyal Apprentice. So next we go into our attacks. So we declare our attackers, which are the Thopter and the Goblin. Winota trigger, Thopter first, and we whiff. And then next off the Goblin, there's a few to choose from, but in the end I decide on a Ranger, Captain, or VL. We do get Ranger's trigger, so we get to search our library for a card with CMC1 unless I put it into our hand, and I find a Hope of Kher. So my opponent blocks with the Prossh, and then I play the Hope of Kher and pass turn. My opponent untaps, draws, so he plays his land for turn, which is an Overgrown Tomb, plays it tapped, and then he uses the Tiger to tap the Graven Cairns for black-red. With the red, he plays a Orcish Lumberjack, and then with the Marine in black and the Bayou, he plays a Vexen Shusher. He then proceeds to attack, swings with Prossh, I take all the damage, and then he passes turn. So my turn, we untap, we draw for turn, we double check all of our triggers on the cards. So 2 mana, we play it to Catley Honor Guard. So then we go into our attack phase, so we go to combat, we get the tokens, they're about to fly over, and then we swing with everything. So with my first attack trigger, we get Thalia Heretic Kher out of the first 6, and then with the next 6 we do actually whiff, but for the following 6 we then pull a Zealous Conscript, so trigger. So with Zealous Conscript, I get that trigger, so I take the Bloom Tender, just so he's down a blocker. Next one is a whiff. So next we get a Magus of the Moon out of the top 6. And then on the final one we find a Thalia Guardian of Thraben. So this is all my triggers, all 5 of them there. So I have gone to blockers now. He realises that it's quite a board to beat damage and stacks wise, so he does concede. So guys, that's game 1 finished. Subscribe, get notifications, and then you'll be able to come back and watch game 2 and potentially game 3.